Elvis's Top 10 Watches, the full video. At number 10, we have this 1960 Accutron Model 521, now nicknamed the King. This was part of Accutron's TV watch series and was characterized by its unique offset rectangular case shape with the crown at the 4 o'clock position. This original model was 14 karat gold filled with a mineral glass crystal and snap-on case back. It utilized Accutron's revolutionary tuning fork movement, which was a significant departure from traditional balance wheel mechanisms and offered superior accuracy. A legacy version of this watch is still available from Accutron. At number 9, we have this rose gold plated over stainless steel Omega Constellation that Elvis wore during his time in the Army. This version is from around 1960 when he served in the Special Services in Germany. He wore this throughout his time in the Army, and he would have been wearing it when he met Priscilla. He later gifted this watch to Charlie Hodge, a close friend and musician who lived at Graceland with Elvis for nearly 20 years. After Hodge died, the watch was sold at auction in 2012 for more than $52,000. At number 8, we have this solid gold 18-karat Coram Buckingham from the early 1960s. This was one of the early oversized watches, measuring 37 by 37 millimeters. You'll notice that throughout these rankings, Elvis often gifted his watches. The Coram Buckingham was no exception. Elvis gifted this watch to Richard Davis, who worked for him until 1971 as a bodyguard and stand-in 23 of his movies. He and Elvis remained friends until Elvis's death in 1977. At number 7, we have another Omega. This watch was presented to Elvis by RCA Records in 1960 to celebrate 75 million records sold. The watch has a white gold case, and the bezel is set with 44 round brilliant diamonds. It was retailed by Tiffany & Company and is stamped with Tiffany & Co. just under the Omega logo and name. The case back is engraved and reads, "To Elvis, 75 million records, RCA Victor, December 25, 1960. When this watch went up for auction in 2018, it sold for more than $1.8 million, a record price for an Omega. At number 6, we have this 1955 Lord Elgin watch, worn extensively on stage in 1955 and 56 for Elvis's earliest national TV appearances. He wore it on his very first television appearance and many others, including the Louisiana Hayride and the Milton Berle Show, as well as when he signed his first music contract. In April 1956, Elvis and his band were sitting poolside at a Las Vegas hotel when a jeweler approached him with a jeweled watch as a gift. Elvis took off the Lord Elgin watch and gave it to Scotty Moore, his longtime guitarist, and put on the watch from the jeweler. Scotty Moore kept the watch in his possession for more than 40 years, at which time he had it cleaned and repaired and gave it to singer Ronnie McDowell. When the Lord Elgin sold at auction in 2023, it fetched more than $326,000. At number 5, we have Elvis's one-of-a-kind 1972 Abel. This watch has 26 round white diamonds on the bezel, a solid 18-karat gold case and dial, and a unique solid 18-karat gold jagged bracelet. The 12, 3, 6, and 9 o'clock indicators are made of lapis lazuli. Elvis wore this watch on stage in the early 1970s, and he gifted it to longtime backup singer J.D. Sumner in 1974, along with the matching solid gold ring. Because of Sumner's large wrists, an extension was added to the band, and Elvis had it engraved, "From Elvis to J.D. Sumner, 1974. From that point on, Sumner always wore the watch on stage when he sang with Elvis. At number 4, we have the King Midas, reference 9630, presented to Elvis in 1970 by the Houston Livestock Show officers in appreciation for 6 sold-out shows in the Houston Astrodome. Rolex only made 1,000 of these, and they were the most expensive Rolexes available at the time, and the heaviest watch you could buy. This watch was hand-wound and was not an oyster case, yet Elvis often wore it in the water, as evidenced by the water damage on the dial. Today, the King Midas sits alongside other treasures on display at Graceland. At number 3 is this Omega wristwatch, personally given to Elvis by Johnny Cash on Elvis's 34th birthday in January 1969. The watch shows heavy signs of wear, and Elvis and Cash were longtime friends dating back to their days at Sun Studios in 1956. They remained close friends and fiercely loyal to each other until the time of Elvis's death. At number 2, we have this 1962 Rolex Submariner Big Crown, reference 6538. This Submariner featured a red triangle on the bezel, an oversized 8mm crown, and no crown guard. Elvis wore this during the filming of his movie Girls, Girls, Girls. Also in 1962, Sean Connery wore this same watch as James Bond in Dr. No, as well as the first man to exceed the speed of sound, test pilot Chuck Yeager. Even without the Presley provenance, this watch regularly sells now for six figures on the secondary market. The Submariner that Sean Connery wore in Dr. No brought $567,000 at auction in 2018. The fate of Elvis's Submariner has been lost to time. Before we get to the number 1 ranked Elvis watch, we have an honorable mention. As we've seen in many previous videos, Elvis loved to gift his watches to friends and family. He also had a go-to gift watch to use when he didn't have one handy to give away, attended special events, or wanted to send a watch to someone from a distance. Elvis commissioned Matthew Tissot to make custom bezels for their Day-Date watch. The 34mm gold-plated over stainless steel watch came with a certificate of authenticity signed by a member of Elvis's entourage, explaining that the watch entitled the owner to access to Elvis's inner circle, including the front gates of Graceland and backstage at concerts. It is estimated that 50 of these were gifted by Elvis. He even gifted one to George H.W. Bush when he was honored as one of the JC's 10 Outstanding Young Men in America of 1970. Coming in at the top spot in our countdown is the famous Hamilton Ventura, also known as the Elvis watch. The iconic Ventura was the world's first electric watch, debuting in 1957. The asymmetrical triangular case reflected the post-war space race design cues of mid-century America. The movement was revolutionary in that it contained a battery, magnets, and an electric coil to drive the gear train and move the hands. The earliest models were luxe and only available with yellow gold cases and bracelets. Elvis first wore the Ventura in Blue Hawaii when he was at the height of his fame, and fans took notice. Sadly, though, the Ventura was not optimized for mass production, as it required frequent battery changes. Hamilton ceased production in 1963. The watch was revived in 1997 when it was featured in the sci-fi action comedy Men in Black. Hamilton has subsequently released a seemingly endless number of variations on the Ventura. You can visit Elvis's original Ventura on display at Graceland, where it shines as an icon of American design, watchmaking, and popular culture. As we've seen in this series, Elvis had a number of incredible watches. There are others not a part of this ranking as well. As you look at the top 10, which was your favorite? Consider the value of the timepiece, the design elements, and the historical significance. Let me know your thoughts and favorites in the comments, and thanks for watching the series.